Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Let me present my screen. Yeah, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So please, type in your attendance. Okay, with the roll number also. Okay, say 1 dot Oswin D'Souza, something like that. You type in your attendance. Okay, fine. So in the previous class, we were talking about the problems. Fine, let's solve few more problems. Okay, today I will solve some problems from Kulshrestha book. Okay, fine. Third problem, right? Did I lose you guys, or I'm still there?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yeah, fine. Okay. The first problem for the day, okay, take down the problem statement. For the circuit shown below, find REAB. For the circuit shown below, find REAB. This is your point A. This is R. This is your point B. All right, so this is the problem. This is the problem.
What's the thing in the middle, sir?
That is also a resistor, okay? So what happened was in the book, it was given something like a box, but then I found it difficult to draw those boxes. I'll do one thing, I'll just correct it. Okay, I'll replace it with a resistance only. Okay. Sometimes, you know, they represent resistance with the help of resistance symbol, or sometimes they will show it as some cylindrical shape object with the description of resistance. Okay, both ways you can represent. You can either represent resistor this way, or you can take up the circuit symbol also. Okay, some authors, you know, they prefer this convention, and some authors prefer this convention. Doesn't matter. Okay, so this is the given circuit. So we are supposed to find the resistance between node A and node B. So this is what you are supposed to find. Okay. Okay, whenever, you know, you have been given with this kind of arrangement, you first look at the symmetry of the network. Okay, if you inspect closely, all the resistance values are R ohms, correct? And you can clearly observe that the bottom half of the circuit is basically the mirror image of the top part of the circuit. Okay, so whatever reduction you are going to get above the x-axis, okay, the same resistance value you are going to get below the x-axis also. Okay, what I mean to say is this is above the x-axis and this is below the x-axis. Okay, so basically it's a symmetrical network. Okay, now how do we begin with? If you look at the top half of the circuit, okay, you can see that the first resistor R, okay, let me start from here. Okay, this is connected in series with this, right? So this R and this R comes in series. Okay, so the same thing I can do it at the bottom section also. Okay, so this one I'm going to write it as step 1. If you are comfortable in one step, you can just tell me the answers also, no problem. Okay, so under step 1, let me write I have R plus R, which is 2R, because series connected resistors. R is connected in series with this R. Okay, series connected resistances. Now, once I apply step 1, okay, the reduced network looks something like this. So I'm going to have a single R over here, sorry, 2R, okay, across which the other resistance R will come, and then the straight resistance R, okay, and then this particular resistance R, okay, and this is your node B. Similarly, in the bottom section, I'm going to have a 2R resistance, R plus R, across which resistance R is connected, and this junction gets connected to the final resistance R. Okay. Now, in the second step, okay, you can observe that this 2R and this R are connected in parallel, right? So let me shade that particular, or let me mark that particular region. Similarly, this R and this 2R, okay, you can see that they are connected in parallel. So let me write, okay, this is step 1. And here let me write step 2. Okay. And in step 2, what are you observing? You are observing resistance to R connected in parallel with R. So basically, R equivalent in step 2, you will get it as 2R in parallel with R. So R equivalent becomes 2R into R divided by 2R plus R, that is 2R square divided by 3R, or basically it is 2 by 3 into R. Okay, 2 by 3 into R. So that leads me to step 3, in which I have a further reduced network. So what do I have? First, I'll draw the straight resistor R. Okay, and then the equivalent resistance, right? What is that equivalent resistance? It is 2 by 3 R. This is 2 by 3 into R, and the remaining resistance, which is R. The same case holds good in the bottom half of the circuitry. That's because the circuit is symmetrical. Okay. This is R, this is 2 by 3 R. Okay. Now you can see that these two resistors are connected in series. Similarly, in the bottom half, you can see that these two resistors are connected in series. Okay. So let me take this as 3. Okay, so over here, let us, calculate R equivalent. So R equivalent going to be 2 by 3 R plus R, right? So R equivalent, you will get it as, you can take the common denominator, 3 going to be the denominator factor. So that's 2R plus 3R. So that's 5 by 3 into R, right? So your R equivalent is 5 by 3 into R. So now let me go for perhaps the final step, step 4. So in step 4, you will have a much simplified network consisting of only 3 resistors. The central resistor being R, okay, the upper resistor being 5 by 3 R, and the lower resistor being 5 by 3 into R. Okay, so RAB is basically the parallel combination of 3 resistors, right? 5 by 3 R parallel with R parallel with 5 by 3 R. Okay, so find out R equivalent. Okay, so RAB, okay, we can find that using this formula. 1 by R equivalent is equal to, it is basically 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Okay, so that is 1 divided by R1. R1 is 5 by 3 into R plus 1 divided by R2. R2 being R itself, and R3 being once again the reciprocal of 5 by 3 into R. So that's 1 divided by 5 by 3 into R. Okay, so 1 by RAB, okay, is equal to 3 divided by pi R plus 1 by R plus 3 divided by 5R. Okay, and you take out. So this is 3, this is 5, and that's 3. So it is basically 11 by 5R. Okay, so 1 over RAB is 11 by 5R, or RAB is equal to 5 by 11 into 1. Okay, so that's the answer. Now, did you get it? The answers? Yeah. Oh my God. Super. Yeah, everyone have got it. Fine. Good. Okay. If you haven't get it, okay, no problems. You can just follow these steps. Redo it. If you get it, well and good. If you don't get it, still it's fine. You can try out once again. Okay. So that's your series parallel reduction. Okay. So can I take the next problem?
Yes.
All right. So in the next problem, okay. All right. You can just write down, okay, the problem statement. Write down the problem statement. Determine currents. Determine the currents I1, I2, and I3, and I3, and I3 flowing in the parallel branches, flowing in the parallel branches in the network shown below. Flowing in the parallel branches in the network shown below. Okay, so they have given you the network. This is 2 ohm, and a parallel combination. Okay, so the upper one is 12, then 20, and then 30. Slightly zoom it. Okay, 12 ohm, 20 ohm, and 30 ohm. This is then connected in series with a 2 ohm resistor. Okay, and the combination is connected across a 100-volt battery. Plus minus 100 volts. Okay, and they themselves have given the current directions. Okay, this is I1, this is I2, this is I3, main current I, and the exiting current, which is also the main current, right? So fine. So this is what is being given. So you are supposed to find out I1, I2, and I3. Okay. You can start solving. You don't have to wait for my method or my solution. Whenever you get an idea, you just apply the idea and try to get the answer. See, there can be multiple avenues, but you are going to have always a unique solution. Okay, the solution can be unique, but you may have multiple, methods to arrive at that right solution. So you can start off by applying, let's say, series parallel reduction, okay, etc. Okay, you start solving. I will do it in my way. Okay, so first of all, what you can do is you know all the resistance values and you also know the applied potential. Probably you can find out the main current I. Okay, once you have the main current, okay, what you can do is you can apply branch current, provided you club, the three resistors into, let's say, 2 resistors. Okay, somehow you have to convert this 3 resistance network into a 2 resistance network, and then you will be able to apply the branch current formula. Okay, that is one way. The second way will be finding out the voltage drop across, let's say, across this 2 ohm and then across this 2 ohm, and the remaining drop, let's say Vy, you can find. Okay, having known the voltage across this parallel combination, okay, you will be able to find the resistance. Okay, so this particular problem can be solved using 2 approaches. Okay, the first approach is current division rule. Okay, the second approach is find the voltage across 2 ohm as well as parallel combination. Okay, so let's see how do you do it. Whether you do it with method 1 or method 2, I don't have any problems. Okay, so current division rule I have already applied right in the previous class, so I'll use this method too. Okay, so what I will do, first I will find out I. How do I find I? The main current I is equal to V divided by R equivalent. Okay, where R equivalent is equal to 2 ohm plus the parallel combination. Okay, that is 12 ohm in parallel with 20 ohm in parallel with 30 ohm. Okay, plus the series resistance 2 ohm. Okay, this is what I'm going to do it. So what do I get from the equivalent resistance? 10 ohm. Great.
10 ohm.
Yeah. So R equivalent, okay, is equal to 2 ohm plus the parallel reduction gives you 6 ohm resistance value plus the remaining 2 ohm. So that's 10 ohm. Okay, so R equivalent is 10 ohm. So therefore, main current I is equal to voltage by resistance. So that is 100 divided by 10, and that is 10 amperes. Okay, 10 amperes. So 10 amperes of current. Okay, so current that flows through 2 ohm resistor is 10 amperes. Similarly, the current which flows through the second 2 ohm resistance is also 10 amperes. So you know the current, you know the resistance. So you can find out the drop across the first 2 ohm resistor as well as the second 2 ohm resistor. Okay, so let me write it. So this is 2 ohm. Okay, this is your parallel branch. And you have your the last 2 ohm resistance. Okay, and the total voltage across this combination, you know, right? It is 100 volts. 100 volts. Okay, and you know the current flow through this 2 ohm resistor, which is 10 amperes. So the voltage drop across 2 ohm resistor, okay, is how much? 10 into 2 is 20 volts. Similarly, the same 10 amperes current flows through the second 2 ohm resistor, and it creates a potential drop of 10 into 2 ohms, that is 20 volts. Okay, so across 2 ohm 20 volt comes into picture, and across the second 2 ohm resistor 20 volt comes into picture. So what is the voltage that comes across the parallel branch?
60.
Exactly 60, right? So voltage Vy is equal to main voltage, okay, minus 20 minus 20. So 100 minus 40 is 60 volts. So voltage Vy, okay, is equal to 60 volts. 60 volts. Okay. Now, you know, you can find out the current values because you know the voltage across the parallel combination, and you also know the resistance values of the parallel combination. So you can calculate the respective currents through the resistors, right? So this is 12 ohm, 20, and 13. I1, I2, and I3. So therefore, I1 is equal to V divided by 12 ohm. Okay, and what is the voltage which is coming across 12 ohm resistor? That's 60, right? So it is 60 by 12. Okay. So 5 amperes. Similarly, I2 is equal to V divided by resistance. Right. So this is 60 by 20. That is 3 amperes. Okay. So I3 should be 10 minus 5 minus 3, 2 amperes. That is one way of calculating. Or you can even use V by R formula. So V divided by 30, and voltage is 60, resistance is 30, so 2 amperes. Okay, so there you are. So that's the solution of this particular problem. Okay. Did anyone use current division rule? It's okay.
Yes, sir. I used.
You used. Are you getting the same answer?
Yes, sir.
That's it?
Yes, I got the same.
Great.
I got the same answer.
Yes, yes. That's what I was saying. Okay, so do not worry what a particular textbook has used a method. Okay, the method which you are comfortable, please go and use it. Okay, and you will get the right answer, provided you know the process is correct. Okay. Fine. So we will solve another problem. Okay. Problem number 4, 5, right? Okay. Take down the problem statement. Take down the problem statement. So it says 3 60 watt, 120 volt light bulbs three 60 watt 120 volt light bulbs are connected across across 120 volt supply 120 volt supply as shown in the figure. As shown in the figure. Find first one. Voltage across each bulb. Voltage across each bulb. Second one, power dissipated in the three bulbs. Power dissipated in the three bulbs. Okay. Third one.
So power dissipated by each or total, sir?
Yeah. So it's a sometimes it is a very catchy question. Oh, whenever that's the reason I extended. They have asked just power dissipated in the three bulbs. Okay, so whenever you calculate power dissipation in each bulb, you finish it off by calculating the total power dissipation. That's what I was writing. Total power dissipation. Whether they ask or not, always you find out the total power dissipation by adding up the individual power dissipations. Okay, so this is the circuit. Plus minus 120 volt of supply. Okay, it is connected to the first lamp, and here the bulb is assumed as the resistive, okay, because the inductance part doesn't work with the DC, right? Because inductive reactance is always 0 ohm for a DC power supply. Second lamp. And the third lamp. Okay. Say lamp A, lamp B, and lamp C. Okay. So this is the given circuit. All right, solution. Now, whenever a problem of this kind is given, okay, wherein some lamp specification is given, right? So the lamp specification is 60 watt 120 volt. Okay, so whenever we have been given with lamp specification, what you need to do is that you need to find out the rating of the lamp. Okay, rating as in the resistance rating of the lamp, because once the resistance is known, you can solve the network very easily. Okay, so what we will do is, first let me write, okay, find out resistance rating of the lamp. Okay, resistance rating of the lamp. Okay, the general formula for power is P is equal to V square by R, right? Okay, where V is equal to voltage rating of the lamp. See, I'm writing voltage rating of the lamp. So do not get deceived with the supply voltage, okay? Because in this particular problem, the supply voltage is given as 120 and the rating of the lamp happens to be 120. Okay, so there is no doubts. Okay. On the other hand, if let's say your supply voltage were to be, say, at 200 volt level, then while calculating the resistance, please do not consider the 200 voltage. Okay, you always consider the lamp voltage rating. Okay, lamp voltage rating. Fine. So that's the reason I have written where V is equal to voltage rating of the lamp. Similarly, P is equal to power rating of the lamp. Power rating of the lamp. Okay. So fine. So you can find out, let's say RA, which is resistance of lamp A. So RA is equal to V square by P. Okay. Which is equal to 120 square divided by 60. That is 240 ohm. And all the lamps are having the same rating. So RA is equal to RB is equal to RC is equal to 240 ohm. Okay, because the rating of the lamps are the same. So it's something like, it is similar to something like you have connected, 3 resistors in parallel. I mean, not parallel, 2 resistors in parallel, and the combination gets connected in series with the third resistance. So this is 240, this is 240 ohm, and this is also 240 ohm, and the supply voltage being 120 volts. Okay, fine. So what you can do is, probably you can find out the current. You can find out the main current. Okay. So I need to find out. For that, let me find out R equivalent. Okay. So R equivalent is basically this. Two 240 ohms resistors are connected in parallel, and the effective resistance comes in series with the remaining 240 ohm resistor. So R equivalent is 240 in parallel with 240. Okay. So R equivalent is 240 plus, okay, yeah, 120 divided by 2 becomes, right, half of the resistance value. So that is 360 ohm. Therefore, current I is equal to V by R equivalent. Okay. So voltage rating is being given, that is 120. Okay. So basically it is 120 divided by 360. Okay. So that is actually 0.33. 0.33 amperes. Okay, see, this is one way of doing the problem. Alternate way, if at all, if you ask me, I would say the voltage division rule. You can even use voltage division rule. Okay, fine. So that's my current. Okay, so let me draw this circuit. Two 240, and this is also 240. Okay, and what is the current flow through this series element is 0.33 amperes. So I is equal to 0.33 amperes. So probably what you can do is you can find out the voltage drop across the series resistor. So it is what? Voltage drop across series 240 ohm resistor is equal to 0.33 into 240. 80. Right? So that's 80 volts. Okay. So supplied voltage is 120. Out of 120, 80 volt is coming across the series resistor. And what about the remaining voltage? How much is the remaining voltage? 40. So 40 volts will come across the parallel branch. So this is your 40 volts. This is what I was talking about. Series parallel, I mean, the voltage division rule probably you can apply and you can get it. Okay. So supply voltage is 120, out of which 80 is coming across 240 ohm resistor. The remaining voltage, which is 120 minus 80, which is 40, will come across the parallel branch. Okay. Now you know the voltage, okay, across the respective resistances. Therefore, you can find out the power dissipated in lamp A. So PA is equal to power dissipated in lamp A. Okay. So PA is equal to, okay, V square divided by R. Okay. So what is the voltage which is coming across resistor RA? It is 80, right? So it is 80 square divided by resistance value, that is 240. So 80 square by 240, (26.66 watts). Similarly, let's calculate PB, okay, in the same line. This is V square by R, okay. And what is the voltage which comes across lamp B? 40 volts. So it is 40 square divided by 240, which is also equal to PC, right? Because it's a shunt or parallel branch. So the same power it is going to consume. So basically it is 40 square divided by 240. That's the resistance value. 6.666, or in short 6.67 watts. Okay. So PB is equal to PC. Okay, that's your second part. So P total is equal to PA plus PB plus PC. Okay, that's 26.66 plus 2 times 6.67 plus 26.66. So that's about 40 watts, right? Are you getting 39.99 something? So that is 40 watts. So the total power consumed in this particular circuit is 40 watts. Yeah, 40.04, that's fine. If you haven't got it, no worries. Redo the calculation, okay. Try until you get the right answers. But most of you have got right 40 watts.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. So,
Sir, can you scroll back up to the question once?
scroll back to the question. Fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Noted. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So let me solve the last problem for the day. Okay. And today I will float the quiz. Sixth problem. Okay. Interesting problem. It's very small, okay, but it is interesting. It will enable you to find out the energy cost. Okay, it will enable you to find out the energy cost, or probably you can even find out roughly the monthly electricity bill. Okay, fine. Please take down the problem statement. An electric boiler draws 12 amps of current. An electric boiler draws 12 amps of current at 115 volt. At 115 volt for a period of 6 hours. For a period of 6 hours. If the electrical energy cost is rupees 2.5 per kilowatt hour, kWh it is. If electrical energy cost is rupees 2.5 per kilowatt hour, determine the cost of the boiler operation. Determine the cost of the boiler operation. Boiler operation. So basically, the author is trying to explain you a physical phenomenon. Okay, so in which an electric boiler or electric water heater is used. Okay, which is drawing a current of 12 amperes from a 115 volt supply. Okay, so operating voltage is 115 and the current drawn is 12 amperes. Okay, and the per unit cost of electricity is rupees 2.5. You know what is the current electricity cost? On an average in India, it is about 6.5 to 7 rupees. Okay, this textbook was printed in the year 1990. So that time the electricity cost was very less. Okay, nevertheless, this problem is a very good problem because it helps you in calculating the rough monthly electricity bill. Okay, here we have been given with only one particular load, but in our home, we have multiple loads, right? If we know the duration of operation, we can easily calculate the electricity bill. Okay, that I will do it sometime later. Okay, I will make an activity to roughly estimate the electricity cost. Okay, that will be taken as an activity. We will do it sometime later. Okay, fine. So first what you have to do is you have to find out the energy consumption. So write down energy consumed. Okay, I have 1 minute of time. I think I can finish it. Energy consumed. Okay, what is energy consumption? Energy consumption is power consumed over a period of time. So it is P into T, and P is voltage into current. So voltage is 150 and the current drawn from the voltage is 12 amperes. So against P, we have 115 into 12 into time. Okay, so what is the operation duration? The operation duration is 6 hours. So into 6, okay, hours. So that you calculate the energy in terms of kilowatt hours. So how much will you get it? 115 into 12 into 6. Okay, so that is 8280 watt hours. But I do not want it in watt hours. I want it in kilowatt hours. So in terms of kilowatt hours, it is 8.28 kWh. Okay, so that's my energy consumption. Okay, 8.28 kilowatt hours. Okay, so therefore cost of operation is energy consumed in kWh. Remember, energy consumed in kWh because the tariff is given in kWh. So you are supposed to keep it in kWh into cost, into the energy cost. So how much is it? Energy consumed in kWh. How much is it? 8.28 into the cost of electricity. Right.
20.7, sir.
Great. So that's 20.7. Okay. So it is rupees 20.7. So this is how you can calculate the electricity bill. Okay, fine then. So I will stop the class at this problem. Okay, so in days to come, let's solve more complex problems, and also let us look into the KVL and KCL aspects of DC circuit. All right. So I'll stop the class. Yeah.